the verbal presentation on women's suffrage, a movement where women came out of their comfort zone and fought for their right to vote. These women were not only brave and intelligent, they were also the leader of the time. So here is the first text that we'll be talking about from the American protest literature. Solitude Ourselves was a speech by Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who was a famous and active leader in the women's suffrage movement. In her speech, she addresses about the much-needed equality and voting rights for women. However, she is clever in a way that she said it is not because of legal protection, but of the importance to recognize every single individual as a human soul. Her speech is full of logic, appealing to the chairman and the community, which were then both white males. The protesting speech was effective to the residing audience. As women at that time, they paying for the taxes. She argued that a woman is to be considered a citizen of the nation when she has the same basic right as the other. She asked that woman to be rid of gender tags such as wife, mothers, sisters, because as an individual she must rely on herself. I find this literature important in an era that it symbolized the strength of women in their logical thinking that was often degraded by men. It showed that women are not a soft character but individual of soul. The quote from Elizabeth Cady Stanton: "The strongest reason for giving women all the opportunity for higher education is the solitude and personal responsibility of her own life," proof that the individuality is the key to successful life. Herland was probably my favorite as it was a really new concept. An utopian novel, Herland talks about life in a newfound country of only women but men. Although the writer was a woman, the narrator was a male and begins to see that woman as not as a female but as people. Herland was a society of peace and community, while the other world, ruled by men, was full of disease and discrimination. While written in 1915, the concept still applies today, as the majority of government bodies are still ruled under men. It boils down to the concept of successful woman leader in politics and business and other fields of professional. Here are some pictures of modern woman leaders, and we might just have a female president after the first African-American president. Susan B. Anthony worked side by side with Elizabeth Cady Stanton for years on women's right to vote. In her essay, "Women Want Bread, Not the Ballet," she says the rounds of disfranchisement and argues that the disfranchised class is a degraded class of labor who have no ability to do anything except to accept the current circumstances, while the enfranchised, the men, are at full advantage. She comes to emphasize the point that it is not the vote we want, but it's the bread we want, while giving out numbers of working single women. This image proves that this was a protest literature on a real issue. Women want financial independence as a breadwinning workers. They didn't want just a vote. They want the vote on securing equal rights and opportunities for women. Women worked in factories when men were away fighting at war front, and women now work as a wife and caretaker, doubling the jobs. A woman people is a collection of poems that mock and challenge anti-suffrage. A poem responds to Mr. Webb, an anti-suffrage who said, "I'm opposed to women's suffrage, but I'm not opposed to women." Miller challenged his illogical, hypocrite nature. A woman engineer was dismissed from her duty because women should not attempt high boiler, and Miller humorously noted from men's perspective that starve or rob, let me have your job. The law says that a married woman takes her husband's nationality, and Miller asks, what's a woman's native land? These poems of protest are easy to read and indicate the struggles women have to bear during the era of traditional gender roles. Moreover, men were generally opposed to women's suffrage movement because they felt threatened by women's new awakening. This image represents the oppression women face today. In the Middle East, women are not allowed to reveal her face to any males but her husband. In the Chinese tradition, the bride is covered and only allowed to be unveiled when her groom-to-be does so. These acts belittle women. If you look at the title, Virginia Woolf's booklet essay, A Room of One's Own, appears to be about men, but it is actually about women and their financial independence and leisure time. She encourages women to get their own area of peace of mind, to think and write. She then explores the history of women's writers. In the essay, the narrator compares countless examples about women and men, men's rich college, elegant libraries, and men's wealth, and women's poverty and financially troubled colleges. This protest essay was written in a time of strong feminist movement where a woman seems restricted in any thinkable way, while a man is free to roll around and enjoy his education. History has proven that women have to be barred from achievement because of unchangeable gender and social stereotypes. Women lack social and economic power because they were to do the housework essay by the society. The essay is still relevant today because women, even working or in a dual working parent household, still have their role to care for the house and the children. However, it is imperative for women of today to have own leisure time to relax from the stressful life.